A skateboarder is an environmental artist. To a skateboarder, a curb is not just a curb. A wall is not just a wall. Stairs are not just stairs. And railings serve a whole other purpose. A skateboarder redefines his or her environment. And in redefining one's environment, the skateboarder realizes true freedom. For if you can redefine your environment, you can redefine anything. Empowered and intensified, skateboarders live by higher and more creative ideals, celebrated in the world of action sports and gaining respect elsewhere, but not everywhere.
Sir, she's riding a skateboard. What is wrong with her? She's riding a skateboard. Sir, look. Sir. Sir, it's okay. Get back. Okay, it's okay. I'm riding a skateboard. Sir, behind your back.
On Go Skateboarding Day, June 21st, 2007, in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the ideals of several young skateboarders were shattered. As an adult, I accept the risks associated with riding my skateboard in hostile territory. But to see young people treated this way is very disheartening to me.
You put your hands on that back, you understand me? Yes, sir. Or I'll spray you.
The city of Hot Springs is a beautiful tourist-based community known for its natural spring water that flows out of the ground at a temperature of 143 degrees Fahrenheit. Spas, shops, and parks dot the historic downtown, where skateboarding is strictly prohibited. I wanted to go to Hot Springs to meet these kids and to encourage them to rise above what transpired on Go Skateboarding Day and not let it become a defining moment of negativity in their lives. So prior to Go Skateboarding Day 2007, what was the skate scene like here in Hot Springs?
We used to skate downtown all the time, but we can't now. And like, this is where most of the spots are.
You had been frequenting these spots before this incident.
Like, I'd only gotten one ticket before that, and that was at the parking garage.
They're not rolling out the red carpet to you, but there wasn't enough prior history to really be able to predict what was gonna happen. And do you think it's just a bunch of bad decisions in the heat of the moment, or do you think it's the result of the overall mentality in the town?
I think like right before all this happened, they like had decided to crack down on skateboarding, and we had no idea, so.
You guys got your courage up, the energy was right, you were feeling good, it was your day, it was Go Skateboarding Day, and you crossed the line. But I don't think you guys could have imagined what was gonna happen next.
I don't know, I feel betrayed by people who are supposed to look over me.
So what's it like going back downtown now, walking around? Kind of a strange deal.
We don't.
You avoid it.
Yeah, like when we were downtown, people recognize us and they'll try and say stuff to us, so we try not to bother with it. Although we love, we think it's a beautiful place and a place we can enjoy, but we really can't because of the people.
And I hear this bitterness. People your age shouldn't be bitter about the place they live and the way they're treated.
People handle stuff differently. Every cop does different things with different situations, but that guy just took it to a whole nother level, and he shouldn't have. And I think if he would have handled it, would have took it easy, you know, it'd be way less awkward in Hot Springs. But he didn't, and now it's just really uncomfortable to live here.
You feel alienated, you feel marginalized, you feel out of place, you feel like you don't belong.
Especially carrying a skateboard.
So this is the parking garage where all the fun started.
Yep.
We come spilling out here.
And then we went.
And we turn right down the street, all right. So you guys are just, you're just cruising it, and
yeah.
Was it a situation where you put the word out to everybody you knew, like we're gonna meet here, we're gonna do this, and then stop a session a few spots? So by the time you're right here, you kind of realize this thing is out of control.
He's riding hard over on your belly down. He was riding
And you came back over here to try and help?
Yeah, and we just wanted to come back and find out what was going on because we had taken the kid down here, so we felt like we were responsible for him.
Did you realize that it was a police officer at the time?
No, he was just telling us all to get back and stuff, and our friend Skylar took a picture, and he saw him take the picture, and he was looked up and he was you, and Skylar just kind of started running off, just walking slowly, and then the cop got up to go after him.
He realizes that the kid just took a photo of him, and he just takes off chasing Skylar.
Yeah.
And Skylar got away.
Yeah.
And then the officer comes back over here.
That's whenever he told me to sit down, and I was like, no, I haven't done anything. That's whenever he comes after me, so I just took off, and he catches me by the throat and starts choking me.
Why did you say no?
Because I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, really. Wasn't even thinking about it.
He started shaking her around and lifting her off the ground, so I don't know, I kind of freaked out. Just trying to get him to stop or something, I thought he was gonna hurt somebody.
They're scared.
Yeah.
You don't understand what's going on.
Sir, I was riding. Sir, please.
You're filming it, Drew. So eventually he has you lay down on the ground?
Yeah, he cuffed me and put me on my stomach. He told me if I moved, he was going to spray me with mace, which I didn't understand because I hadn't said anything to him. So.
You put your hands on that back, you understand me? Yes, sir. Or I'll spray you.
And you guys all eventually left in cop cars, handcuffed.
Yeah.
That's got to be surreal. You start the day just going out to have some fun, and the next thing you know, you're being carted off in a cop car with handcuffs on.
Yeah, blown out of proportion way too fast. It was nuts.
This is ridiculous, man. All you're under arrest for is the violation of city ordinance for skateboarding, you understand? Yes, sir. You're under arrest for fleeing, resisting arrest. You're under arrest for interference with law enforcement officer, resisting arrest, violation of city ordinance.
When you guys think about it and you guys watch the video, do you feel like in some way you're responsible for what happened?
Everyone was responsible for their actions, but it could have been handled differently, and we would have done different things if the police had done different things.
Is this something that you're gonna get over, that can be fixed in some way, can be mended? Is there any kind of reconciliation? Is there any way that would make you guys feel better about what happened?
Skating is our life. That's what we want to do every day, but for 6 months we were on house arrest or probation or doing community service, or just couldn't go anywhere because we were going to be in trouble or be seen by somebody.
What they're supposed to do is give you a ticket, maybe even take your board and have your parents come down there and grab it. I mean, you don't get pulled over for speeding and have them just jerk you out of the car and start choking you, you know? It's not right.
No.
It's not the way to handle it.
You're absolutely right. My impression from meeting you and spending time with you, and then even from what I saw in the video, it's not like you're these rowdy, obnoxious, out-of-control teenagers that have no respect for anything. You're just skateboarders who love skateboarding, right?
Right. I think people stereotype us and have a misconception of who we are. Like they think we like vandalize or do drugs or whatever, and we're just not like that.
So you think the reputation of some skateboarders preceded you, and you were punished for that?
Yeah, for their actions we were punished.
So if you guys could talk to this officer, talk to the judge, if you had the opportunity to say something about yourselves before this incident, before they passed judgment on you, what would you want to say to them?
Like, not all skateboarders are bad. Sure, there's bad ones, but there's bad everything. There's bad football players, bad basketball players. There's a stereotype that every skateboarder is bad, and it's not true at all, you know?
You can't let that be a defining moment in your life, something that's going to loom over you and something you carry with you for your whole lives. You just can't. You gotta get past it, because if you don't, they win, and we, as skateboarders, can never let them win. Ever.
I mean, this could happen like 1,000 more times. We'll never stop skating, you know? We just love it too much.
The events of Go Skateboarding Day have crippled these young people. Not because of the violence of the initial encounter with the police officer, where things happened in the heat of the moment, and poor decisions were made on both sides, but rather because of the fact that these kids were singled out and punished while the police officer was exonerated from any wrongdoing, thus spurring a city to shun these kids. That is the real crime in Hot Springs, not some kids skateboarding where they were not supposed to, not the inappropriate actions of one police officer, but the fact that a community has made these kids feel like the lowest of criminals. That is what makes this entire incident so shameful, and something all communities can and should learn from. Skaters for Public Skateparks, John Leizear, understands the importance of skaters and communities finding common ground. A nonprofit advocacy group, SPS is comprised of an international network of volunteers providing education and information to ensure that skateboarders everywhere are properly facilitated. A lifelong skater, John recognizes that progress often comes with small victories. But he also knows that when skaters and their community come together, great things are possible. In the community you live in, this is what you got.
That's right. This is what we ended up with, and this was a result of almost 3 years of hard work.
A project like this, you kind of walk a fine line.
Real fine line.
Because you live in this community, you work in this community, you fought for this. But as a skater, you know, this isn't really sufficient.
We took what we could get so that we could get the kids in an area, because skateboarding is banned throughout the community. The kids could only skate on their property, in their driveways, and that wasn't going to cut it. So we're going to use this as a stepping stone. We're going to show them that there's skaters, that this park will be successful, and we hope to evolve this into a better park that'll better serve the community.
This is a step in a process.
A step in the process.
Just down in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I imagine you're familiar with what happened there on Go Skateboarding Day. What was your initial reaction to that?
Anger? How can you make kids criminals for riding a skateboard? It just doesn't make sense to me at all.
It's a community that really hasn't embraced skateboarding. They gave them a skate park, but they put it in like the worst part of town, and they keep shutting it down because there's all kinds of problems there. These kids kind of feel like they live in a town that doesn't care about them.
Yeah.
That's how they feel anyway. That's kind of one of the big problems we're facing. you know? I imagine that your organization is facing, you know, is
Every day, towns are banning skateboarding, communities are banning skateboarding, and it's hard for kids to have a voice without somebody standing behind them.
but we can all learn something from what we saw in that video.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can learn that we never want to be a community like that.
It's coming down to the communities. It's coming down to the people who are going to make themselves players for the future of skateboarding.
Yeah. Close to where we're at right now, Washington, D.C., there's a group of guys, of lifelong skaters like you and I, and they banded together and built a skate park in the neighborhood that everybody forgot. And they had this concept to build it with a green mindset. And now these kids that never saw a skateboard, never rode a skateboard, are at that skate park every day riding a skateboard, not doing drugs, in school, and they've found a support network that they typically don't even have at home.
The Green Skate Lab in Washington, D.C. is the brainchild of science teacher Terry Nostrand, who along with her husband Chris and a group of local skaters set out to build an environmentally friendly skate park made out of recycled materials. In the process, they have not only created a truly unique piece of skateboarding architecture, but also provided the neighborhood kids with a new way to express themselves. When you walk up on this, I mean, this looks pretty epic. Yeah, there's nothing quite like it. I've never seen anything quite like it skateboard-wise.
Terry, she took some of her students on a field trip to Mexico, and I think there she saw a lot of people building houses out of tires, and you know, she just had the idea.
So the idea to build the bowl out of tires, that started with Terry.
Yes.
Definitely.
What's the first thing you did? I mean, how do you actually incorporate using a tire?
The same way we used to build ramps back in the 80s was we just scavenge stuff. It was like,
We first collected a lot of tires from the Potomac River watershed.
remember
And we
all
found
got
big
really
stacks
sick.
of tires, like 15 feet tall, and we saw trees growing through the tires that were 15-year-old trees. And you know, in another 5 years, the tire's gonna be squeezing around the tree, and it's eventually gonna choke it out. So, you know, like anything you can take away from the environment and put somewhere where it's gonna be useful and it's not gonna do that to Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So not only can you build a skate park that your community can use, but you can do it in a way where you're recycling and it's green and it's eco-friendly.
And it's more cost-effective.
More cost-effective.
I'd say 75%, if not more, of the coping was recycled from an old swimming pool.
We recycled the fence from the site.
The drain actually feeds out into the park there, and when the water drains out of the bowl, it waters the trees.
I mean, pretty much everything except for the concrete. Some of the rebar and some of the pool block, but for the most part, I'd say that it's probably 85% recycled material.
It's positive right from the beginning. It's skaters coming together.
Yep.
It's a green project. It's something that's serving the community and the global skate scene, really.
Yep.
Classroom.
Yeah, it's a classroom. It's a positive place where you can come and do your thing, express yourself. People come from all over, but there's local kids that have started skating.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When this project started, they came out and saw us. We had one section built, you know, we're riding on that. Hey, can I check that out? Yeah, you can check it out.
Once the project was actually completed, I think the cool thing was that some of the neighbors around the park and in the neighborhood kind of came by to check it out. We're like, wow, you know, this is a really cool project, and we're really glad that this is here. And you know, we didn't really know about skateboarding. We didn't know what it could bring to the community, and You know, they were stoked.
You know, there was probably a lot of stereotypes about, you know, skateboarders that I think we've broken down as, you know, the community sees us being cool with the kids and teaching them how to drop in or whatever. You know, I mean, I've had parents come up to me and they've thanked me and said, you know, my kid skateboards and doesn't get into trouble because of this.
This park stands, or this bowl stands, as testament to what skateboarders can do when they put their minds to it.
But it's pretty cool to see just what you can give out to other people when they come up and are just stoked on skateboarding.
Skateboarding poses a real challenge to our communities, and how we as communities address this challenge is really only a matter of perspective. We can view skaters as a nuisance and a public threat, or we can change our perspective ever so slightly and see the beauty and creativity in what they do. Skateboarders can either be treated like common criminals or embraced and championed as people who can help shape and grow our communities. It's all about perspective. Tell them they are bad, and they're liable to believe it. Give them a chance to participate and see just how much they really have to offer. The choice is in our hands.